Tim, and today we're in San Francisco, and we've decided to do a rock and roll tour of the Haight Ashbury district. I know many of these places are common knowledge, but some of the stuff we want to do is, you know, some of the more obscure stuff that you might see here. And I'm with my wonderful wife, Nada, and her good friend, Marguerite. And Marguerite, you've lived here for...
Well, I'm born here. I'm a third generation San Francisco.
There you go. Let's get started right here down Haight Ashbury. And we're going to start over on the far eastern end, right by Divisadero and the Haight. And we'll take you in and out, and we'll end up down the line. Okay, we'll see you in a bit. This is 215 Haight right here. And there is a psychedelic poster museum here. And it happens to be open today and having a free art show. And we're going to check it out real quick here. Pretty impressive stuff in here. Who knew? Pearl Jam exhibit. I love the poster. I like the posters better than the music, but you know, that's just me. By the way, what is the difference between there's lower Haight and upper Haight?
Well, upper Haight is where we're at.
Yeah.
And the lower Haight is behind us, on the other side of Divisadero.
We have conflicting stories about how Divisadero got its name. You say this whole Spanish stuff. It's the dividing line of the city, I say, and the fog stays on the west side and it's clear on the right side. I'm probably full of shit, but my story sounds better, is more rockin' than yours. So
Spanish that named it.
Who played lead guitar with that group?
It was Diviz. Adero.
This is the Albin boarding house, and Peter Albin and his brother lived here. Peter Albin was the bass player in Big Brother and the Holding Company. And but he played guitar too, and one summer day in '64, I believe it was, he was playing there, the window was open, and Sam Andrew, the soon to be the lead guitar player in Big Brother and the Holding Company, was walking by. He stopped, he liked the way he played. They got together here, and this is how Big Brother and the Holding Company started. Janis Joplin joined maybe a year and a half later, and at first they didn't change their sound to suit her, right? That kind of came as it became apparent she was going to be a star, and she had such a special voice. But here's where it got started, right here on Page Street. Okay, we're actually right at the beginning of where the Haight shops are right here, but we're gonna make a little detour and head south down Buena Vista West. All right, so this is 731 Buena Vista West. This house used to belong to Graham Nash when he was here in his San Francisco days. And so I'm sure a lot of great music was written here. You know, funny enough, one of my favorite little fun facts about the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia is that he played pedal steel guitar. And if you listen to Teach Your Children Well, which was basically a Graham Nash song, if you listen to the steel guitar, it's Jerry Garcia playing on it, which I think is, he's great on it. It's really the main instrument in the song, but this was the house. And then right next door here, this house used to belong to Jack London way back when. And in later years, it was owned by Danny Glover, actor.
A lot of Grateful Dead recorded here. And
that's right, you're right. You want to know something? You're right. This was a recording studio in one of these two things. And the Steve Miller Band was here too. That's right, I forgot about that. Wow, hey, thank you.
It's temporary. I think any downturn is temporary.
By the way, just a little history lesson here. My wife Nada and Marguerite are lifelong friends who've known each other since high school. And sometimes, as you may have noticed, three's a crowd here. But that's okay. Hey, old friends are gold, right?
That's right.
That's right.
You don't have too many.
Yeah, exactly. You don't get too many in life, so treat them good.
Fewer.
All right, so we're looking for 32, which we're coming up on now.
So nice. I'm so glad we came up here.
This is 32 Del Mar, and this house doesn't have a lot of history, but you know, the Sex Pistols played their very last show here in San Francisco. But anyways, after the show, the band broke up, and you know, Sid Vicious took residence here for long enough to OD and make the papers. And this is where it happened. I'm really not sure how long he lived here.
You're not at the Chelsea in New York, huh?
No, he died at the Chelsea, New York, just over a year later,
'cause I
but
was
he
there.
OD'd here. He
I
didn't
was
die.
there.
He died when he was 21 in February of '79. So, you know, this happened just over a year before he passed away. So, what a shame. But hey, love the Sex Pistols. They were great.
Pipe Dreams was originally called the White Rabbit.
Yeah, basically the original Haight
original.
Ashbury
Yeah.
head
Yes.
shop. Oh, oldest,
Yes.
established 1968. This is kind of one of my little obscure things I wanted to check out on the trip. 1369 Haight, and what this is a anarchist collective bookstore, which I thought might be kind of interesting to stop in and check out, especially with the times we live in. But it's gonna have to be some other time. It doesn't look like they've been here very much. So, all right. So here we are at 1237 Masonic, and that is Haight Street right there. We're a couple houses from the corner. And this was hiding in plain sight. This was a house once, this beautifully redone Victorian, once belonged to the Symbionese Liberation Army. And as I understand, this was one of the houses that was a safe house for Patty Hearst when they had kidnapped her. I do not believe it was the only safe house in the...
No. One of the main houses that she was kept in is on Golden Gate between Broderick and Baker, right near where you're staying.
There was a third one somewhere too, but this is
That
probably the most well-known one. We have arrived. It is time to shop.
So I try on some kaleidoscope glasses.
No, if they're prescription, I'd love to. Yeah.
Well, the idea is not to help you see better; it's to help
Help
you see
more.
deeper.
Okay, got you. Hey, it's 4:20 somewhere in the United States right now, right? And a really interesting thing about this building is the clock is perpetually stuck on 4:20, the International Day for April 20th for anything marijuana related. And there's some other stories about this
Well,
too.
420 started in San Rafael at San Rafael High. The kids started putting it. I was teaching at that point in time, and I'd go, "What does 420 mean?" They'd put it on their artwork, and of course they wouldn't tell me, but eventually we all knew.
And what is it?
For take a pot break.
It's code for take a pot break. I did not know that. So we're going to finish our route down Haight Street this way, and we're going to kind of go in between things that look interesting to us. No real rhyme or reason other
Make
than
sure you get your Grateful Dead t-shirt.
I'm going to actually I think I may buy this one right here. I like it. But it's going to be hard not to buy this comic right here too. We're at Amoeba Music, which is at the extreme western end of Haight Street, right where it butts up against Golden Gate Park. It's a great place if you like vinyl, used vinyl, very rockin' place. If you want something a bit more obscure, there's a record store called Jack's Record Cellar, and it's on the corner of Scott and Page. It's about 10 or 12 blocks east of where we're at right now. Note that it's only open on Saturday between noon and 5 p.m. 5 hours a week, that is it. But a super cool place, a real experience to go there too. All right, here we are on Waller Street. And this is one of my place on the list that looks really cool. It's called freegoldwatch.com. It's an arcade and it's one of the largest arcades in San Francisco, old school arcade, and it is a t-shirt printing business too. So they got it all here, folks. Let's check it out. Whoa, this is pretty wild. All right, we're gonna wind our way up Waller now, another block, make a left and get back up to Haight Street.
I mean,
Let's go. Let's scoff law. Those rules are for other people. They're not us. We're rebels. Okay, we're leaving Haight. We're going to start walking south on Ashbury. And this is probably like the most, it's kind of like the Hajj here. Oh, look at that. Kind of cool. If you're going to make a pilgrimage to Haight Ashbury, you have to go to our next stop. It is our last stop, but it's probably the most, I don't know, most famous place on the trip. And what we're looking for right now is 710 Ashbury. So this was the Grateful Dead house. Looks very different, I'm sure, than it did then.
Well, there's a very famous picture you can find where they're all sitting on these steps.
Yeah, okay.
And it's a very famous picture, and you can probably in that get a clue as to what it looked like, but chances are it didn't have the paint job that it now.
Oh, no way it looked this good. You know, for me, I'm a rocker. The Grateful Dead I think they're a bit of an acquired taste. And as we were talking last night, Marguerite and I had a big rock and roll discussion. And for me, the Grateful Dead either are like, I can't tell if they really suck or if they're really brilliant. It's like they strike me differently every time I hear it.
And what I said was they are both.
Which is so right on and true.
And you think that their 3-part, 4-part harmonies are all choreographed, and I have a feeling they're just serendipitous improvisation.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it is, then they were really brilliant. Anyway,
their first name was not the Grateful Dead. Their first name were the Warlocks. So they were working with the energy all along, consciously working with the energy.
I did not know that.
Their
Wow.
first name was the Warlocks. Witchy kind of guys.
So, all right, so we're ending our trip. We're walking down, back up Haight Street, going east towards where we parked the car. And pretty good trip. We saw a lot of stuff. Some obscure, some well-known, all fun.
Haight Ashbury, very fun.
There's nowhere else like it, and this is it, right?
This is it.
The things we were looking for are fairly ancient history, really interesting history nonetheless. All right, for Marguerite, Nate, and myself,
Bye.
see you later. Bye.